Diablo 4's debut expansion, Vessel of Hatred, shakes up Sanctuary with a whole bunch of new content, including a new region to explore, a raid activity, and plenty of dungeons to plunder. But one of the more underrated things that's been added to the mix are a new set of skills and passive talents that can have a major impact on how you play each of Diablo 4's deadly wanderers. Before we get started, a quick disclaimer that we won't be talking about the Spiritborn skills and passes because, well, they're all new. There's a whole lot to love from this new Ghost Beastie summoning character class though, from life-stealing centipede abilities to lightning-fast eagle builds, so knock yourself out. Instead, this guide is going to be about all the new skills and passives that have been added to each of the 5 pre-existing classes. And with that, let's dive in. First up is the Barbarian, whose new skill, Mighty Throw, allows you to throw your weapon and watch it splash down on your foes to deal massive DPS and pulses of AoE damage over time. This enhanced perk gives you increased attack speed while you're parted from your weapon, and then you can further enhance it with either Fighter's Mighty Throw, which generates additional pulses and a barrier for you, or Warrior's Mighty Throw, which gives the skill a major damage increase and stuns enemies for 2 seconds. In short, this skill is all about switching weapons, tossing them away for big numbers, and repeating that process. For passives, we've got Barbed Carapace, which gives you thorns when spending Fury, grants you unhindered for using skills, and deals thorns damage to close enemies every second. Meanwhile, Heavy Hitter gives your ultimate skills more damage, Irrepressible grants Fortify when using weapon masteries, and Belligerence increases your DPS when using basic skills. Finally, there's the Force of Nature node on the Paragon board. This Barbarian mod can be accessed starting on your second board of the Paragon perk tree and gives your Earthquakes a bunch of extra DPS potential and a 75% chance to spawn a Dust Devil that deals damage as well. Moving on to the Druid, the nature-loving fighter has been given a new core skill called Stone Burst, which gathers stones under the ground, then detonates them to devastating effect. This is also a channeling skill, meaning you can hold down the attack button to charge it up, then release it for increased damage and size, so be sure to give that a try. The enhanced perk makes the final explosion bigger, while the third lets you choose either Primal Stone Burst, which gives you increased attack speed during and after channeling your Stone Burst, and Raging Stone Burst, which costs more spirit but does more damage. Passives include One with Nature, which gives you additional companions who do more damage and automatically summons wild beasts to join you on your adventure. Feral Aptitude makes you do more DPS while healthy or moving faster than your base speed. Catastrophe deals more damage after using your ultimate, Humanity lets you do more damage while in human form, and Backlash gives you more damage after casting a defensive skill. Then there's the legendary node, Untamed, which you can grab from the Paragon board, which gives you 4 ranks of companion skills after you've used another companion skill. The Necromancer has a powerful new ultimate ability called Soul Rift that corrupts all surrounding enemies with darkness damage over time, then absorbs the souls of corrupted enemies to grant you essence and a barrier. It's pretty dang powerful stuff. The Supreme Soul Rift perk increases your damage for every soul you absorb along the way, and Prime Soul Rift tops it all off by making soul-absorbed enemies vulnerable and letting you absorb more souls by hitting them while Soul Rift is active. For passives, Necromancers get Affliction, which increases damage to enemies affected by Vulnerable, Crowd Control, or Shadow damage over time, and makes your curse skills do more damage to afflicted enemies, and increases those affected by these status effects as well. Finality deals increased damage after casting your ultimate, Necrotic Fortitude gives you a chance to gain a barrier when you proc Lucky Hit, Titan's Fall gives you increased damage towards elites while fortified, and Precious Decay increases your Lucky Hit chance. Finally, you've got the legendary node, Frailty, which makes cursed enemies take more damage from you and your minions, which increases further for each second they remained cursed. Next up is the Rogue, whose new ability, Dance of Knives, makes you spin with a tornado of blades like a stabby Tasmanian devil. You'll also get increased movement speed and dodge chance while spinning around. The enhanced perk gives you even more charges when you travel while spinning. Then at the end of the tree, you'll be forced to pick between either Methodical Dance of Knives, which drops a bunch of stun grenades when you're finally through spinning, or Disciplined Dance of Knives, which slows enemies hit by your twirling and has a chance to pierce. Spin to win, baby. For passives, we've got Alchemical Admixture, which increases the potency of your imbuement skills when you deal multiple types of non-physical damage, and increases that potency even further based on your bonus damage to poison, shadow, and cold. The target practice passive increases your critical strike chance for marksman and cutthroat skills. Balestra increases your damage after evading, evasive makes you take less damage after dodging, and Unto Dawn increases the damage dealt from ultimate skills. For the new legendary node perk, rogues have Dance Macabre, which greatly increases the damage of your next skill after you cast a mobility or subterfuge skill. Last, but certainly not least, there's the Sorceress, which gains the Conjuration skill Familiar, which summons a familiar correlating to the element of your last cast skill. This little ball of magic chases enemies around and happily explodes to deal damage. The power also gives you a chance to spawn a familiar anytime you summon a non-familiar conjuration. The Enhance perk adds a damaging aura to your familiar. One of your last options is the Summon Familiar, which gives you a damage reduction while you've got more than one familiar summoned, and makes summon familiars rotate between the elements instead of being based on your previous attack. Alternatively, you can pick the Invoked Familiar, which gives you increased damage for skills matching the same damage type as your summoned familiar. The Sorceress's new key passive is Enlightenment, which gives you stacks of enlightenment for every skill you cast, then triggers a powerful buff for a duration of time once you've stored up enough. Enlightenment grants you massive increases to damage, mana regeneration, and attack speed. Not half bad at all. The other new passives for the Sorceress are Energy Focus, which generates barriers over time and rewards you for not losing health. Dampen Layer, which reduces your damage taken while you've got a barrier active. Elemental Synergies, which increases Frost, Shock, and Pyromancy damage based on how many skills of that type you've equipped. And Evocation, which reduces cooldown for your skills. The legendary node, Fundamental Release, gives you major damage increases for each fire, lightning, or cold attack you make against an enemy, which is particularly useful when lobbing dozens of spells at a chunky boss. And that is a wrap. These are all the new skills and passives added to the old character classes in Diablo 4 as part of Vessel of Hatred's expansion. Which ones are you most excited to try out? Let us know in the comments. And for more, check out our guides on the biggest changes to Vessel of Hatred and our guide on where to find all the tenets of Akarat. And for everything else in heaven, hell, and everything in between, stick with IGN.